Okay, ninth grade, I say it was so different. I mean, you had more freedom to move around and get in the halls and talk to girls up and down the halls, and I really became interested in girls then. I was, of course, riding this bus. I believe this time I had a year and riding that particular bus, and so I had a cousin. This is another set of cousins. It's one, Mary Margaret Dorman. She always looked out for me. I was playing the baritone sax, and that thing as big as I was. And by the way, we had that thing in marching band too, you know, and that thing hung around my neck. You know, that's why my neck's crooked now. So, but I really excelled on that particular instrument. And I will say something here too. I learned out much later that the girl that I married, she had played baritone sax in high school. But it's quite different. You don't have a deep throat. You cannot gonna play it. You know, it's just that simple. But I say I enjoyed it. I felt it when I played it. And I was trying, you know, I hadn't thought about what I was doing, trying to hang on to playing guitar, and what was ahead of me. That was, you know, there weren't any colleges except one in the country that I know of, that I knew of then, that offered saxophone as a major instrument to major in, to get a degree in music. And that's the Chicago Music College. It was the only one. And so that meant I had to make a decision down the road somewhere. And I'm going to jump through grade levels because high school was high school. So I did go on to get the first chair all-state band in Alabama on baritone sax. And my friend John Henry, he didn't make it at all. But we always usually had, out of a band of about 40 kids, we usually had about 15 to make it. And that was unusual. It was just quite unusual. So anyhow, that was success. And I'm going to tell a little story about this secret. Even though I was rhythmic, I wasn't that much of a, at that point, when I was in ninth grade, I wasn't that good at rhythm. I didn't have seen a real, didn't make a breakthrough sometime. But I worked on rhythm, until I finally, that came up, when I got to college, I realized that was easy. It was a system, you know, division. Here I was good at math, but I wasn't good at rhythm. Well, I mean, I had rhythm, but I mean, I started reading rhythms, you know. And when it came to a system of counting, of course, then I got it. But I was never exposed to that, a system of counting. Never.
Speaks about what you're teaching years later and how that's such a big deal.
Yeah, and so I had all kind of course, and I'm going to jump on a little further as far as band, because I was going to play football, and it, you know, just you know, just a little country boy that I could play football. And anyhow, in my junior year, I hurt myself playing football. You know, most of my cousins were on the football team, and they wanted me out there bad because they knew I could beat up on them. You know, on Sundays, and I'd do everything. You know, and they knew I wasn't frightened of attacking the whole bunch. And so I decided to go out, but it was such a pain, you know, because I practice every day and living 22 miles from the school. So everything became difficult. And so not much we could really do. It was, of course, band, I worked it out, you know. But I hurt myself right in the middle of the season. One year hurt my knee. I'm tackling about 4 people. I mean, about 700 pounds of meat. So, but anyhow, I hobbled around a couple of weeks with it trying to play, and it just wasn't working out. So my principal thank him today. I'll do John L. Porter, Dr. Porter. He came out. He just insisted I go back in the band, you know. And I did, and of course glad I did. And went on down to excel in music, in band music. I could always do the other stuff, you know, guitar and sing. But then I discovered when I went to college that you couldn't play saxophone. It's sloppy fingers, you know. You have on a saxophone, you know, guitar, and even guitar, and play guitar, because you get these calluses, and they don't cover tone holes. So I had no sense to set the guitar down. And I had a choice, and I never will forget, and I was sorry times about it, because I liked the sound, that tone quality of the saxophone, and I liked the one with the French horn. But those old French horns back in those days, I mean, they were French horns. They was, these were mellophones. Bad. And this, I mean, the musical instruments per se, they were bad. But until something came along, and Mr. Gavin left the school. He was in 10th grade. And to sell musical instruments. But he came back the next year, and this band director and assistant principal. But he was still selling those band instruments. Jesse French, out of Mobile. And he found this, he's looking after himself. This, I forget the brand. I'll think of it in a bit, but it was a burnished gold tenor saxophone. $800. Can you imagine? I mean, most of the horns cost $150. And but I remember going to my father and asked him about what I wanted to do. It was hurting me too, because I knew that he couldn't afford it. That was the 5 brothers. And so, but nevertheless, he said, "Listen, go ahead and do it. We'll pay for it somehow." And that was that's why I don't know, but I continued to play the Barry in the band, Barry sax.